now even to be selected, like to be approved, for instance, your ministerial appointment, we know that, we have heard that that can go as far as 54 million naira. And now, if these are the case, if these things are indeed the case, when a person finds that kind of money, and let's just use a benchmark of about, a conservative benchmark of about 50 million naira to try to get elected. There are senators who will tell you it costs a lot more, and these reps who will tell you it costs a lot more. When people find this kind of money to invest, and that's what it is, invest, they want to take it out again.
Make the money back.
And so they want to make the money back.
Yes.
And so in as long as the political process is as corrupt as it is, in as long as people are not compelled to disclose the source of their funding for the elections, aren't we just going to be here again next year when Transparency International might say Nigeria is now the fourth most corrupt country in the world, and we start this whole thing all over again? Is there any escape from this situation? I think it's Luis Turner.
Yeah, I think what really matters is punishment, sanction. When people are caught, when people are caught stealing, if the government or the system, makes it possible to dispense justice quickly, that will serve as deterrence. We have a situation whereby you have former leaders, former military leaders, who all of their lives served in the service. And if you sit back and calculate how much they earn, it's something that could be computed. And all of a sudden they are now multi-billionaires, and we don't ask questions. Of course, people who are growing up, they see them as role models. Politics has been monetized. Gone are the days when people talk about ideas. Today, if you want to aspire to any office, what you do now is sit down, calculate how much it will cost you, not what you are going to offer the people. Until we get to the root of the matter, until we begin to, do ethical regeneration, we won't get out of the bind. Because when you, like the Senate President told us the other day, he said many of them are investors. So when they get to go to power, they are looking for returns on their investment. So how do you reconcile that? And you have people who are in government, who are in power, in place of authority today, who didn't win elections. We know some of these things. They didn't win elections. So morally, they are already crippled. When they're in government, they are beholden to their godfather.
Let me comment, sorry, but let me just comment on something that I think it was Tokumbo who phoned in earlier had said, that all people who are older than 55 should consider retiring. It must be said that there are those of our elders that are indeed speaking up against it. Only recently, for example, Professor Chino Achebe spoke up quite loudly, he referred to what is going on in Anambra, for example. Now, if that isn't corruption, and at least, thank God, speaking up against corruption, I don't know what is, but there's somebody else wants to join us. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, thanks for calling.
Yeah, my name is Lukman Koton from Lagos Island.
Okay.
I'd like to make my own comment. Don't let us fool ourselves. We all know that we are corrupt in this country. Look at the whole society. It's so full of corruption. Anywhere you go, you're either being asked for one thing or the other. Let us look at the government setting. Let's look at what is even happening with the due process. You see, many people put in contracts. At the end of the day, you have to run after one DG, one PAMSEC, or what have you, before your papers are being treated. Let's even look at the immediate society. It's so full of corruption because people have no job, the poverty are there, and all these things are there. Let's even look at the politicians. Most of the people that got elected, ask them how much they spend. Ask them how much they use in bribing people. Ask them how much they use in bribing people that are in charge of the election. So they are
you, Lukman.
Not only the government, but the people themselves.
Okay.
We have to change our way of thinking.
Okay, that's the point Louis was making. Thank you very much for Lukman. Okay, there you are.
And Bayo, how can we change the way we think when minimum wage is 7,500 naira? A man has to survive. What can he buy with 7,500 naira? As you say, the system fuels this corruption. Even where the spirit is willing, the spirit is against it. The man is thinking about the rent he has to pay, the children he has to feed, school fees, everything. All those bills are waiting for him at home. So how is he going to survive on that kind of minimum wage?
Well, is it therefore he must be corrupt? Is that what you're saying?
The system makes him, even when he doesn't want to.
Even when he doesn't want to, he's going to be corrupt. Okay, now I agree with what Alera is saying. Now, if you take what she's just said, you find that a lot of those people, 7,500 per month, they make up the bulk of, on a Sunday, you see the horde, the crowds that go to churches, up and down the land. I guess that if you were to take a census of some sort, you'd find that up to 85–90% of those people those churches. Now they go in there, and from this 7,005, they still will pay tithes and offerings and all of that, as the Word of God says, or as the man of God leads them. Now, this corruption that we're talking about, we've spoken about it in government, in private sector. What do you think of the churches? Are the churches at least free of this corruption? In your view, just from, are the churches at least free? That we can actually thank God at least the church is there, for example. The Muslim mosques, at least they are honest and transparent. Can we say that? We're looking for an oasis here, an oasis of sanity.
For almost 10 years that, the churches have not been criticizing government policies, really. Because what happens to the church is that the pastor wants to pray for you. Let me anybody who can bring 1,000 naira here to the front here for me to touch him and pray for him anointing should bring 1,000. I'll be the week that I'll pray for.
Okay.
I would say church.
Sorry, Lee, we have a call.
We'll come to that issue with you. Please permit us to just get this call. Hello? Are you there?
Yes. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for calling.
I've been following the program. And actually, my friend Louis, I think he's just holding. It's not as coming forth as we expected of an editor.
He's being diplomatic, eh? Louis is being diplomatic.
He's just being too diplomatic.
Okay.
Nigerian corruption is too open for everybody.
Okay.
Hello?
Okay.
If Nigeria is not corrupt, and Obasanjo, sorry to say that, why has he not appointed the Minister of Petroleum since he came to power?
Okay.
And then who are the people behind the importation of fuel?
Okay.
5 years, he was to build as many refineries as he could have done, as it's supposed to have been done. But today, they have abandoned refineries because it's easy for them to transfer money abroad. Actually, to say this, but that is the truth. And look at the issue of 100 million for states to buy bus. How many people are going to get the money? How many people will they get the loan from? It's not going to take us anywhere. Just using divide and rule taxes to make things more, maybe by getting the secrecy of the tax cutter. I think it's just part of the corrupt tendencies of Obasanjo. Almost every well-meaning Nigerian has told this man, revert to the old prices, including our elder statesmen. That the verdict, told him recently that how can you make peace abroad when your home is not in peace?
Okay.
But still is still bent on having his way. That's why it's very corrupt. And unfortunately, Obasanjo took that place. We are still heading towards a very big problem. And let's talk about the issue of our leader. When Buhari was there, I think they were publishing what they were earning. What can't you tell us what is coming in?
Okay, thank you very much.
The problem is Nigeria is until the head is sanitized, the go with the body can take shape. It's like a fish.
Okay.
If the presidency is absolutely corrupt, and that is exactly what it is, even this international whatever, they are just building Nigeria is a corrupt country on earth.
Thank you very much.
And,
thank you. We get your deal. thank you. We
I was
get
going to-
your
I was going to
Well,
say-
actually, we interrupted Louis, who...
People run to the church because of the
People say
poverty.
you're getting very diplomatic.
And no, don't go to the diplomatic one, because there's too many. Yes, because he had said that, that churches were not critical of government. That might be because they didn't feel that there was anything to be criticized in government. But whatever be the case, men of God, men of timber and caliber of God are seen frequently surrounding the leadership, going up to the leadership, and perhaps doing the biblical thing of praying for the leadership. So you could say that he has the support of the church. But as the question I posed is, would you say that at least there's an oasis of being corruption-free, sanity, corruption-wise, in the church and the mosque, in the religious sphere of our life?
No, absolutely. Because the church does not exist in isolation of the society. If you travel along Lagos-Ibadan Expressway now, you see rapid expansion. Churches are growing up and all that. But that does not signify that we are becoming more spiritual.
Oh, I would have thought it does. I mean, I would have thought it does.
It shows you that there's a lot of poverty in the land and people are starting to God.
What I'm saying is that...
Well, you're searching for... I'm searching for righteousness. You're searching for God. Isn't it for righteousness? And righteousness and corruption have nothing to do with each other.
What I'm saying is that churches, people now see church. I mean, the church is now big business. People go in there. Pastors live in opulence. Church members are told to pay tithes. I mean, there was a story last year.
Well, it's the Bible that tells the Christians to pay tithes. Never mind church members being told.
If you go to church, I attend a church. I attend a church. If you go to church, there are so many innovations nowadays.
Okay.
There are special Thanksgiving and all that.
And,
so people don't even ask
where you get
this money from.
Okay.
Last year, I think there was one controversial case. A guy worked with Sheraton, and somehow a salary earner was now declaring millions to church. And the pastor didn't ask him, where is this money coming from?
Okay, let's see someone. Hello, are you there?
Good morning.
Good morning, Emmanuel. Where have you been all these weeks?
I'm rather doing well, but I just...
It's good to have you back.
As usual, I commend your effort. Channels has always been on top of the pack, and we appreciate your effort.
Thank you for your time.
And the combination of your ear and there, I'm sounding a note of warning to channels. Don't change the winning team.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your kind words.
I have been listening with keen interest to the discussions. Actually, I read a book that says that poverty could not be defined, although there have been a lot of efforts to do the definition. But that book, and I quite agree with it, you can describe it, but you can't define it. Efforts have been made to define corruption from different perspectives, and of course, like you very rightly noted, the difficulty also, even within the panel you have there, to properly situate by way of definition this concept called corruption. We all have various ideas about what it is, depending on our own perspective, but we can hardly define it, even though we can describe it. You can describe financial corruption. You can define corruption in the church, where the pastor, for example, deviates from the teachings of Christ and make members of their hard-earned money with wrong interpretation of certain biblical provisions for personal aggrandizement. So it is also corruption.